Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today, and how's everybody at home? Thank you so much for being here. I am so glad that you're here on Story Time, ready for another story. Thank you so much for joining in, and of course, a big thank you to all the creators, all the publishing houses that have allowed us to read so many wonderful books here on Story Time. Thank you so much, and yes, may that continue, and may we continue to bring many beautiful books here to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in. Please, as always, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you, so we can say hi to you and everybody else as well. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I'm excited to be here with you, and we do have a wonderful book. Oh, I love this one. I cannot wait to share it with you. A River of Dust, the life-giving link between North Africa and the Amazon. And this one is written by Jilaane Hoffmann and illustrations by Eugenia Mello. And of course, we're reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. A beautiful book. I cannot wait for you to see these wonderful illustrations, and of course, enjoy the journey as well. A beautiful story to boot. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I'm excited for this one, and I feel like it's one of those covers I have to show you the whole bit so you can see and appreciate it. There you go. And there's a lot more to see as well in this book. Beautiful book indeed. Thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, glad that we're here together. And as I've mentioned too, as you know, that story time will be pre-recorded starting in the next starting on Friday. Actually, it'll be pre-recorded because I will not be here to do the lives, but we'll have pre-recordings. And starting off with this Friday, we're replaying a video a conversation that we had, a visit that we had with the tinkering studio of the Exploratorium, and they did activities with us. We also read a book called Balance the Birds, this one coming from Susie Garimani, and so excited to share this one with you. And so just some material for you to be looking out for. We'll be sharing that as well as you prepare. We'll be doing some balancing acts. So these are things that you can find at home. So just bring your tools, just some scissors and pliers and all that, and just hole punches, whatever you can find, and then gather objects to explore. As you can see in there, it's just pencils, spoons, leaves, anything really that you can find easily at home. Collect some connectors. This could be some soft wire or things like that. Paper clips, anything that you could use to connect. Pegs, clothespins, anything like that. And then also find and make a base. And you'll be taken through and talk through all of this on Friday. So this is just to help you prepare and find those things ready. And also we'll be posting all this information on the Storytime platforms again, so you can find it and gather that material before our Storytime on Friday. So excited for that, but also definitely we'll miss you all. But we'll be back in August for more Storytime Live with more brand new books, and of course the ones that we'll be going back to when the time that I'll be away will be amazing. So I hope that people can still tune in and get to enjoy them. And if it's books, we always go back to our books, right? So I hope that you get to enjoy them. This week, our lineup is lovely. I love it indeed. Of course, Balance the Birds is not in that shot, but of course, we read They Lead. We've had A Shell is Cozy. We learned about shells, and today we have A River of Dust. And then tomorrow, we will be reading The Sacred Life of Bugs and Other Little Critters. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I am excited to share all these things with you. But of course, before we go into our reading today, let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy a wonderful story. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Ari. And of course, good morning to you, Megan, as well. Thank you for joining us out there in Kentucky. Oh, yes, watering the garden. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely, and yes, those trees, those plants need nourishment for sure. Thank you so much for joining in. Glad that you're here with us. As the plants are getting the dose of water for the day, well, we're getting a dose of a story time for today. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad that you're here with us. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you, Pamela Courtney. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time in cloudy and warm Nakitosh, Louisiana. Thank you so much for being here, Auntie Pam. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And yes, I hope that the family is great. Please, when you do connect with Braylon and Chad, do tell them I said hello. And of course, Auntie Anne as well. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Good to see you here. This is a beautiful book. This is a good one. I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Good morning to you, Nathan, and of course, Sarah, joining us out there in sunny and dry Illinois. Thank you for being here with us. Amanda West, thank you for joining in Storytime. This evening is supposed to be cloudy and wet, thankfully. Well, later on in the evening, so I hope that you enjoy whatever you have right now. But two, yes, it seems like that wet weather is needed as well. Well, thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad that you're here with us. Hugs to you. Thank you for being here. And yeah, always good to see you, Sarah and Nathan. And of course, Amanda. Thank you so much for joining us out there in Illinois. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you out in Orange County, California. Thank you so much for joining us. April Booker, thank you for being here with us. And of course, Jemison Alicia Lindley, good to see you here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you're enjoying your summer. I hope you're enjoying your summer break. I hope you are having the time of your lives. Thank you so much for joining us here. Always good to see you out there in Orange County. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. And just an update too, it is sunny out there in Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining in. And I'm assuming Orange County is sunny too, because I see sun emoji on there too. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. I hope that you enjoy the story that we have for you today. I love it. I hope that you do too. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the other side of this very short break when we're back for more story time.
You're watching Story Time with Maple and Cypress. Just kidding. You're watching Story Time with Mr. LaMotta.
Hi, my name's Christine Mitchell-Adams. I'm a mama and an artist, and I believe that books are a great way for children to have access to the arts on an everyday basis, which is why I believe that programs like Storytime with Mr. LaMotta are so important.
Welcome back. Thank you indeed. Oh, Ari making me laugh for sure. I love it. Thank you so much. And of course, Chrissy Mitchell Adams, very important indeed. We want to make sure that all kids have access to the arts, access to a well-rounded education. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And yeah, this is our book for today, A River of Dust, the life-giving link between North Africa and the Amazon. And this one is written by Jilaane Hoffmann and illustrations by Eugenia Mello. And we're reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And I'm just going to take off the sleeve here so that you can see. I mean, there's just so much beauty in this book. And that's just the backside of the book. And there you go. And then let me just take off the sleeve so you can see this gorgeous cover as well. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And I promise you too, like I guarantee you the video is not doing this justice. It is such a beautiful cover, and it extends all the way. It's kind of like dust. I love it. I love it so much. And look at that. Look at that for end papers. Lots and lots to appreciate about this book. I hope that when you get it from the library, I hope that you're able to see some of these things. I know that books from the library are usually, taped up and tucked so they can the numbers for cataloging are there. But yeah, I hope that you can still enjoy the rest of it for sure. The life-giving link between North Africa and the Amazon, a river of dust, written by Jilaane Hoffmann and illustrated by Eugenia Mello. Millions of years ago, no ocean lay between us. You and I were one. And then slowly, great forces tore us apart. And I must say too that this book is written from the perspective of the sand, the dust. I love it. Millions of years ago, no ocean lay between us. You and I were one. And then slowly, great forces tore us apart, creating 7 continents surrounded by vast oceans. Yeah, millions of years ago, no ocean lay between us. You and I were one. And then slowly, great forces tore us apart, creating 7 continents surrounded by vast oceans. Let's look at these beautiful pages. I'll try and hold onto the pages a little bit longer today so you can enjoy them. But I found a way to reach you, to sustain you, to help you flourish. Slowly, great forces tore us apart. Millions of years ago, we were one. But I have found a way to reach you, to sustain you, to help you flourish. I am dust, the dust of North Africa. Not just any dust, though. I am more than the grit in an eye, the smudge on a finger, the grime that swirls down a drain. For I connect continents. Yes, I am dust, dust of North Africa. Not just any dust, though. I am more than the grit in an eye, the smudge on a finger, the grime that swirls down a drain. For I connect continents. I come from the Sahel, a ribbon of land spread between the Sahara Desert to the north and the tropical savanna to the south. Land that stretches from the Red Sea in the east to the Atlantic Ocean in the west. When the Harmattan wind howls across the Sahel, I begin my journey westward. What do I carry? What do you think the sand carries? I come from the Sahel, a ribbon of land spread between the Sahara Desert to the north and the tropical savanna to the south. Land that stretches from the Red Sea in the east to the Atlantic Ocean in the west. When the Harmattan wind howls across the Sahel, I begin my journey westward. What do I carry? What do you carry indeed? Precious cargo needed all life, needed by all life on earth. What is that precious cargo? That is needed by all life on earth, plants, trees, and animals, including humans. We all need it. What does the sand carry? When the wind blows through the Sahel, I begin my journey westward. What do I carry? Precious cargo needed by all life on earth, plants, trees, and animals, including humans. I rise in dense whirling clouds. I soar above acacia trees and scrubby dried tufts of crumb grass. Yeah. I rise in dense whirling clouds. I soar above acacia trees and scrubby dried tufts of crumb trees. Crumb grass. I whip across grasslands and through bulbous baobab trees. I whip across grasslands and through bulbous baobab trees. Yeah, aren't they majestic, these baobab trees? I shroud the sun, sift through cracks around windows and doors, and into eyes and ears and mouths. Oh my. Watch out. The sand is taking over. The sand is on course. You're in the sand's path. I shroud the sun, sift through cracks around windows and doors, and into eyes and ears and mouths. I am the dust of the Sahel. I fly above a river that bends like an elbow, tracing tree and grass oasis. What a journey, what a view. I fly above a river that bends like an elbow, tracing tree and grass oasis. Through a desert of rock and sand below, the air so dry it cracks the trunks of trees. I spiral over plateaus of rocks as flat as a palm, toward a thick trunk of water with curving fingers like a hand. The surrounding land, a rich emerald green. Do you know all these features? What river is it? What about this delta? What do you think it is? Through a desert of rock and sand below, the air so dry it cracks the trunks of trees. I spiral over plateaus of rock as flat as a palm, toward a thick trunk of water with curving fingers like a hand. The surrounding land, a rich emerald green. After a journey of thousands of miles, I reach the Atlantic Ocean, which rises up, swells, and foams, then stretches out to meet the sky. But I have no time to rest at the shore. Although bits of me scatter groundward, I still have far to travel. And every time I've read that in preparation for this, it kind of reminds me of the Robert Frost Snowy Evening poem. I still have far to travel. After a journey of thousands of miles, I reach the Atlantic Ocean, which rises up, swells and forms, then stretches out to meet the sky. But I have no time to rest at the shore. Although bits of me scatter groundward, I still have far to travel, for I connect continents. Mwah. Yes, indeed, I connect continents. I fly across the Atlantic, losing much of myself to the restless waves below, falling into a dolphin's eyes, a whale's mouth, perhaps floating forever, mixing with the salt and krill and seaweed, building up the ocean's soup. Yeah, I fly across the Atlantic, losing much of myself to the restless waves below, falling into a dolphin's eye, a whale's mouth, perhaps floating forever, mixing with the salt and krill and seaweed, building up the ocean's soup. Bountiful, boundless, and purpose-filled, even in my loss, I maintain my course. Yes. Bountiful, boundless, and purpose-filled. Even in my loss, I maintain my course. March on. Oh. I fly and fly and fly, spilling and thinning as I go, finally reaching you, a land where clouds and rainfall often mask the sun, a land that blooms and thrives, that's lush with trees and vines. Oh, quite the journey, quite the views. I hope you're enjoying them. I fly and fly and fly, spilling and thinning as I go, finally reaching you, a land where clouds and rainfall often mask the sun, a land that blooms and thrives, that's lush with trees and vines. Oh. I, the dust of Africa, fall onto your thick canopy, and then onto the earth that anchors your trees, the Amazon rainforest. Wow. I, the dust of Africa, fall onto your canopy, and then onto the earth that anchors your trees, the Amazon rainforest. I end my journey here with you, renewing our connection. Oh, what a journey. I, the dust of Africa, fall onto your thick canopy, and then onto the earth that anchors your trees, the Amazon rainforest. I end my journey here with you, renewing our connection. I release my cargo, phosphorus, knowing that your rain-washed, depleted soil could not nourish your trees, numbering more than the stars of the Milky Way without this vital resource. Indeed. I release my cargo, phosphorus, knowing that your rain-washed, depleted soil could not nourish your trees without this vital resource. Your numerous trees, more than the stars of the Milky Way. Wow. And as you flourish, know that I have not forgotten you. And I hope that you have not forgotten me. No matter how long we've been apart, when I reach you, we become one once again. No. Yes, indeed. And as you flourish, know that I have not forgotten you. And I hope that you have not forgotten me. No matter how long we've been apart, when I reach you, we become one once again. And that is the end of our story. And there's so much back matter in this book. I hope that you can get it from the library and get to just read up a lot more on how the scientists came up and studied this phenomenon. And just it's amazing to see how far this sand flies and that it brings so much resource too. So there's a lot in here, and it also goes on to the next pages, and you can see how NASA tracks that sand. And then there's another drawing on the other side here too, where you can see kind of a journey that happens with that sand and all the different things. So I hope that you get to have a chance to have this book at home, and you can read it closely, look closely indeed. I think the dedication in this book, maybe I'll read the author's note, since the author's note is a little bit shorter. So I'll read that. But before then too, I just want you to, I think, hold on to this as you think about this book at home. In the dedication, Eugenia Mello, the illustrator, says, "To the ones who notice, relish, and care for the little details, the tiny pieces from which our whole world is made. If you look closely enough, we are all one." So I hope that you get a chance to look closely at this book, get to explore it even more. When we are back from this short break, we're going to read our author's notes. So join me on the other side of this short break. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime today.
I Too by Langston Hughes. I too am America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Nobody will dare say to me, "Eat in the kitchen then." Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Soraya. Absolutely love that recitation of that of the poem. Thank you so much. Here we go though with the author's note from our book today, and it says, "When I was in middle school, I learned that dust from North Africa traveled across the Atlantic Ocean to fall on North and South America. This wasn't a lesson in school. It was on the evening news. The idea that dust could travel that far boggled my mind. I had so many questions. Was it different from the dust that blew across the fields of our farm? How much dust made the entire trip? How much fell into the ocean? The news report didn't answer any of my questions. So in 2015, when an email from NASA about a river of dust landed in my inbox, I took it as a sign that I needed to share NASA's discoveries with others. In the summer of 2020, dust was once again a headline on the evening news when a plume from the Sahara Desert and its southern border, the Sahel, blanketed the Caribbean and the southeastern United States. This time, I was excited because I knew so much more about it through my research. I knew so much more about it. Through my research, I had learned that North African dust carries how that excuse me. Through my research, I had learned that North African dust carries, how it varies by season, how it can change weather patterns, and how it can affect the Amazon and deep ocean. I marvel at how these tiny specks from one of the driest parts of the world nourish two of the wettest ecosystems thousands of miles away. And I am inspired by seeing how something so small can make such a big difference. A book about science is only a snapshot of what was known when it was written. As this book approaches publication, new research suggests that the source of the majority of dust reaching South America may actually come from El Juf, an area of Mauritania and Mali that lies in the southern Sahara Desert, roughly 1,600 miles or 2,570 kilometers west of the Bordela Depression. Future research will show whether this new analysis is correct. So just a lot to think about too, as well as the fact that, research is ongoing and we're always refining, right? So thank you so much for joining in. I just wanted to show you this cover one more time. It is beautiful there. Just to be able to represent dust like this, I just feel like that's amazing, and lots of beautiful, beautiful art in this book. Let me just put the sleeve back on. Thank you so much for joining in story time today. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful book, but not only the beautiful art, but I hope that you enjoyed the beautiful story as well. A River of Dust, the life-giving link between North Africa and the Amazon. This one is written by Jilaane Hoffmann and illustrations by Eugenia Mello. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I see comments in there too. Thank you everybody for joining in today. I appreciate this so, so much. Thank you for being here. Oh, Ari, right back at you, buddy. Right back at you. Love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. I hope that you enjoyed that story that we just read. Don't you just love the way they've given the words such wonderful movement? Yeah, I do, absolutely do. We not only hear how active the words are, it's visual as it's a visual treat as well. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Pamela Courtney, for that observation. Absolutely love it. I do. It's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And talking about movement, I'm just going to read this page one more time because I think it speaks to how I feel right now, as I know that tomorrow is our last live this summer. And then, of course, story time will be lots and lots of videos that have already been lined up for you to enjoy and read and, get to interact. But I know that we'll be back live in August. So, and this is the page that I was thinking of. And as you flourish, know that I have not forgotten you. And I hope that you have not forgotten me. No matter how long we've been apart, when I reach you, we become one once again. And I would definitely be looking forward to coming back here after August, after my travels, and be here with you all and get to enjoy more story time. Thank you so much for being here with us on Story Time. Stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Yes, that's exactly the one that was coming to mind when I look at that phrase in here. I have a long way to go. Thank you so much for joining in. And yes, I just love that poem. Thank you so much for sharing, Pamela Courtney. Appreciations. Yes, it's such a beautiful book, isn't it? I agree with you, Megan. I just love it so much. It is such a well-written book, but also it is just beautiful visuals, beautiful just like images of the Nile Delta, the baobab trees, and so much more. Just look at all those. That's just beautiful, beautiful art indeed, and beautiful story. Thank you so much for joining in. And yeah, what a way to start the morning for sure. Have an amazing, well-deserved vacation. Well, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your summer too. But there's lots and lots of story time that will be happening as well. So whenever you can, I hope that you're able to still tune in, and yeah, we can still stay connected that way. Thank you so much for being here, Pamela Courtney. The art beneath the book cover is sometimes called the Andes by some in the Kidlit community. Good to know, Pamela Courtney. I love it. Good to know. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I love it. Yes. Oh, I love it. Love it. Pamela Courtney, now you threw me off. All right, here we go. Have a safe trip. Well, thank you so much. Yes. And we still have one more live story together. Looking forward to that tomorrow. And we have another beautiful, beautiful book. Look out for this one that is coming tomorrow. The Secret Life of Bugs and Other Little Critters. And this one is written by Emmanuel Figueres and illustrations by Alexander Vidal. And it is coming as well from, this one is actually coming from 12 Books, an imprint of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. So a big thank you to them indeed. This 12 Books, I think, is originally from France, and then it was acquired by Chronicle Books. And so, yeah, we're here and we get to share some of their books. And just look at that, just that pretty butterfly. You see it at the top? Well, you've not seen anything yet. Look at that. Hello. And you think that's done? Well, just you wait. Look at that. These laser cuts that they have in here. Can you see that? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then you get to your butterfly. It's such a beautiful book. I don't know if you can still see through it. But yeah, there's just so much. And that's just one piece. There's so much in here. It's another beautiful one. I hope that you can join us tomorrow and get to enjoy it. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Oh, I could go on talking about books all day. Please tell me to go away so you can go about your business. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the time that you get to spend here with us, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I am so glad that we get to spend time here together. Of course, you know, it's just it's a privilege I do not take for granted to be able to be here with you all and get spoiled. Treat, as Pamela Courtney calls it, just enjoy these treats together. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. I hope that later on in the day too, maybe you carve out a little more time for another book or two. I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime, and please keep sending in those recommendations, and remember to check in on somebody today. Check in on a loved one, say hello, just to make sure they are okay. Never know. You never know. That little hello could be just what they needed for the day. Thank you so much for being here. Hugs to you. Hugs, hugs, hugs. And I will see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. Bye-bye.
Storytime with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Storytime with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to read.